Okay, good evening to all of you. My name is Lakshmi Kantam. I am a retired IAS officer. I worked as collector and district magistrate of Krishna district in Andhra Pradesh and also joint executive officer of Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam. Today, I will talk on the governance, the layers of governance, the pillars of governance, and principles or elements of governance which will be useful for the civil services examination and also other competitive examination aspirants. So first of all, what is governance? Governance is nothing but the act of the government, the act of the government. There are different types of governments in the world: democratic government, republican government, tyranny government, junta military government, theocratic government, technocratic government, and plutocracy, aristocracy, oligarchy, anarchy, fascism, then authoritarianism, totalitarianism, like that. Different types of governments are now in the world. So, what is the word governance? Governance has been derived from the Latin word governare, G-U-B-E-R-N-A-R-E, governare, and the Greek word govnein, govnein, G-U-B-E-R-N-A-E-I-N, which means to steer, to regulate, to steer. So that is the actual meaning of governance. To rule is very easy, to govern is very difficult. Ruling means whatever way the administrators rule, it's a rule, that's it. But governing means it shall be linked with some actions, positive actions. Mahatma Gandhi has revealed in one of the occasions that after attaining Swaraj to my country, we need to have Suraj. After attaining independence to my country, we need to have Suraj. Suraj means good governance. Good governance. There are different types of governances. Different types. One is a bad governance. Second one is good governance. Third one is e-governance, electronic governance, and the fourth one is E2 governance, an excellent electronic governance. Then in a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Wealth is something to be ashamed of. So governance is nothing but the process of decision making and then how the decisions are implemented or not implemented. So that is the widest definition of governance. This is the process of decision making and then how these decisions are being implemented or not implemented. The word governance is not a new one, it's not a new concept. It is as old as the human civilization. So the word governance has attained its significance since 1990 with the two beautiful reports of the World Bank. The first report is the situation in sub-Saharan Africa, from crisis to sustainable development, from crisis to the maximum benefits of the society, how they are going to achieve is the first report, where the World Bank has stressed upon the need for governance on this first report. The very second report of World Bank is governance and development, which includes a lot of indicators like political, legal and economic indicators. Then what are the three layers of governance? What are the three layers of governance? The first one is state, the second one is civil society, the third one is market. These are the three layers of governance. State, the importance of state, the main function of the state is to create the political, legal and economic environment which will be useful, congenial and comfortable for the public. The political, legal and economic environment. The second one is civil society. So what is the role of civil society? The main role of civil society is nothing but anchoring. That means they have to mobilize the public. Mobilization of the public is the main function of the civil society. And the third one is market. So what is the role of market? The main role of market is to create reasonable opportunities for the public. Reasonable opportunities for the public. There are two types of persons in the world. One is an optimist, second one is a pessimist. Who is an optimist? Who is a pessimist? An optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty, whereas the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. That means human being has to utilize the opportunities in a most flippant, impetus manner. And then what are the pillars of this governance? What are the main pillars? Like the constitution, there are four pillars first: legislative, executive, judiciary, press. Of late, the NGOs, the civil society organizations also have been added. 5 pillars in the constitution. Like that in the governance also, first of all they have identified 4 pillars. What are the 4 pillars? The first one is the accountability. The second one is equity. The third one is quality. The fourth one is effectivity. Accountability. Who is accountable to whom? The government shall be accountable to the public citizen. So that is the main motto of the accountability. The second one is equity. So what is equity? Equity is nothing but impartial equal participation. Impartial equal participation. That means all the population, all the genders have to be properly included. Equal participation, including all vulnerable population. Then the third one is quality. What does it mean, quality? So quality, where the people's expectations will meet. The people's expectations are very high nowadays. So we have to meet the people's expectation. That's known as the quality. Then the fourth one is effectivity. Fourth pillar is effectivity. So what does it mean? Effective. Effective means doing right things. Doing all right things is known as effectivity. Then what is efficiency? Doing the things right is known as efficiency. So effectivity is the fourth pillar. Then apart from all these 4 pillars, they have added 2 more pillars. The fifth one is the rule of law. The rule of law is the steel framework and it shall be enforceable. It includes the human rights also. That means it can be ensured with independent judiciary, the political will and a honesty executive system. So rule of law. Then control of corruptions. So corruptions has to be controlled. So these are the 6 pillars of governance. 6 pillars of governance. Then what are the 8 elements or principles of governance? 8 elements or principles of governance. The very first one is voluntary participation. That means participatory role, participatory approach is the very first element of governance. What is meant by participatory? That means all human beings shall be participated. Men, women, other genders, all have to be participated equally. Equal participation. First one. Then they shall be informed. They shall be informed and properly organized. Properly organized. It includes the freedom of expression on one side and the society, organized society on the other side. So that is known as participatory role. All have to be participate. The second one is rule of law. Rule of law is nothing but the steel framework, and it has to be enforced properly and perfectly. It includes all rights, human rights, minorities' rights, linguistic rights, economic rights, social rights. So it has to be, and it can be ensured with independent judiciary, and then political will, and then honesty executive system. So these are the parameters for the enforcing this rule of law. Then the third element or principle of good governance is transparency. Lot of transparency we have to ensure. Whatever the information, whatever the decision that has been taken at the top level, it has to be reached. It has to be reached particularly at the cutting edge level. That is the aim of governance. What is aim? Aim is a wonderful 3-letter word in English dictionary. AIM, ambition in mind. So the main aim of governance is to reach the unreached. So whatever the decision is taken at the top level, it has to be reached the cutting edge level, bottom level. So information shall be available, accessible, affordable. 3A concept of information, because the public is the owner of information. Then the fourth element or principle is responsiveness. We have a lot of systems and then processes. All the systems, all the institutions, all the processes have to serve properly all the stakeholders in a time bound manner. Whatever the grievance that has been projected by the public or the stakeholder, it has to be addressed, redressed properly in a time bound manner. So what is time? Timely implementation of many events. A stitch in time saves 9. So that is the time bound manner redressal of grievances. That's known as responsiveness. And fifth one is the consensus arrived. What is consensus? There are a lot of actors in the governance. Government, society, market forces, corporate sector, farmers, and lot of actors are there. And all the actors are having different ideologies, ideas. All the ideas have to be clubbed properly, amalgamated thoroughly, so that a uniform consensus will be arrived. For example, United Nations organization has taken a decision on the common consensus of nearly 194 countries. So what is that? That is nothing but sustainable development goals, SDGs. They are 17 in number. So all the SDGs have been formulated, and how to achieve the goals, and what is the time bound plan of action. So that is the consensus arrived. Then the sixth one is equity and inclusiveness. So let's have the equal, judicious, impartial participation. All the population shall be equally included in the system, including vulnerable population, and inclusiveness has to be ensured. All shall be included, so that a beautiful, wonderful, excitable, betterment society will be evolved. Then effectivity and efficiency. Effectivity and efficiency. So effectivity is nothing but doing the right things. Efficiency is doing the things right. That means we have to protect the environment. Sustainable management of natural resources is nothing but the efficiency of the administration, governance. Administration, governance. Then accountability. The eighth one is known as accountability. So who is accountable to whom? Apart from the government institutions, private sector and civil society organizations, all shall be accountable to the stakeholder. Government or the private organization or the civil society organization shall be accountable to public. So that is nothing but accountability. So these are the 8 elements. These are the 8 elements or principles of governance. Based on this, good governance index has been evolved. Government of India has released the good governance index rankings. Out of the big states category, the Tamil Nadu has ranked first. Then second one is the Maharashtra. The third one is the Karnataka. So these are the top 3 states in the bigger states category of good governance index. Whereas the second category is hills and northeastern states category, out of which Himachal Pradesh stands first in the good governance index in the hilly and northeastern states category. Out of the world of 250 countries, Estonia stands first, Electronic Estonia stands first in good governance index, followed by Uruguay and other countries. The last country who has ranked last in the good governance index is Syria, then Sudan, then like that some of the African countries. So this is nothing but good governance index. So I will make a stop at this point. In the next part, I will cover the aspects of governance, good governance, and some of the initiatives and then promotions and drawbacks of governance in the next part. Thank you.